Batho ba Modimo. Welcome to the second episode of season 2 of Confessions of a Consecrated Cutie. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah. If you don't know who I am, I'm a little bit out of breath, child. Why did I run? Why did I run to come sit down? Because now it's like, hey. Anyways, let me put my podcast voice back on. If you don't already know who I am Heeelang Sibilwane, but the Instagram, YouTube, TikTok streets know me as one and only Rory. And if you don't know me on those streets, then go follow me on those streets so you can know me on those streets. Obviously. And if it's the first time listening, I would suggest that you start with season 1, because this podcast is generally a story of my life, and I do be referring back to a lot of my episodes a lot, so I would suggest you go listen to them. But if you like me, and you can start a series in the middle and just continue from where you start, then you can stay and listen to this episode. If it's not your first time listening to me, please make sure that you leave a like on this video if you're watching on YouTube, so that YouTube can push this video. Don't be selfish with me. Share me with your friends, okay? And if it's not your first time listening, please make sure that you leave a review so that people can know what they're getting themselves into. Generally, people don't really listen to intros that much, and this is where I'm still introducing myself. But if you leave a review and tell them that, oh my god, 1 2 3 1 2 3, I learned 1 2 3 1 2 3, oh my god, I laughed at 1 2 3 1 2 3, then people can be like, oh my god, 4 5 6 and actually watch and actually listen. So please do that if you haven't already. Okay, so in the last episode, I really honestly think that I actually gave you guys a little bit too much in the previous episode, but it's okay. It's all right. Baby, it's all right. Oh, baby, it's all right. Okay, so we're just gonna pick up from where we left off. Basically, last week was the introduction of what season 2 is going to be about. It's going to be about growing pains, the uncomfortability that comes with certain aspects of your life, like whenever you enter a new stage of your life. And I basically just went into a little bit about how I'm working at MultiChoice now, and the short of the long story is I create TikToks, and so far I've also helped produce 2 episodes of a show that is going up on Channel O this weekend, actually. This weekend when I'm shooting, but not for you guys. You guys are gonna see this probably after the show has already been up. But I helped produce 2 shoots with KO and AKA for Channel O. So there's a lot that comes with the multi-choice job, but I can't necessarily tell you exactly what it is, right? So it came at the perfect time because I was kind of broke. I was kind of broke because I quit my previous job 2 weeks before I got this one, because I felt like it wasn't serving me in the direction that I was trying to go with my career. So I said, you know what, I know that God can provide for me something that is in alignment with where we're trying to go with my life, right? And so shame he did, because Barbara forced me to enter this incubator thing, and that's how I got through to the program through TikTok. I had to use this hashtag on TikTok, whatever. The point is, I'm a part of this incubator thing, and I already told you guys it's a part of a learnership and whatever. So basically, I am living in a lot of my answered prayers right now. I have a stable, steady income that I can rely on for a whole year. I've been getting I've worked with KFC and Inecto. That was huge for me because those are 2 huge brands. And also I'm very close to graduating. This is the first time that it actually feels like, you know what, I actually might graduate. It is freaking me out a lot. I really do think that I need to go see my psychologist, but budget yaka ya psychologist, the medical aid ifedile, so I cannot go see my psychologist about it. But I am kind of freaking out because the first time that I feel this close to actually graduating, And I'm scared because the last time it was giving, I looked close as well, even though it wasn't something that I really wanted to be in. But it seemed like I was close in graduating. And then I kept failing, and I fade. You know what I mean? So it's hard, because you know what I mean? 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 So, it's just hard to believe that I'm actually there. So now, I did touch on it in the first episode that there's a lot of juggling that's going on, and my balls are falling. But basically, it's taking a lot out of me to live in my answered prayer. And what I want to ask you guys, like, genuine chat, genuine conversation as consecrated cuties, are we actually ready for the life that we prayed for? Like, are we actually ready for the amount of work that's going to go into it? Are we ready for the intentionality that's going to go into it? Are we ready for the uncomfortability that comes with being in a new stage of living in the answered prayer? Like, are we, like, are you actually ready the way you say you are ready? Like, when it comes and it slaps you basically in the face, and it slaps you and it slaps you in the face, are you going to be able to handle it? Because it came and it felt like I was drowning, right? And my biggest fear in life is drowning, so hear me. It felt like I was drowning, right? And when I come up for air, like, somebody else would slide down the slide and fall on top of me, and I'd be drowning again. Like, I was chasing deadlines. I was, even the bands, you know where the danger is. Yeah. I was literally, like, fighting for my life. And it's in moments like that where you need to remember that Jesus was minding his business walking on the water, right? Peter put himself in Jesus's business and asked Jesus to say, call me out then if you're Jesus. I went into Jesus' business and I told Jesus, trust me. Hey, trust me. If you give me 1, 2, 3, I got it, right? What happened? Peter started looking at the wind. Peter looked at the wind. Peter said, oh no, Jesus, I'm drowning. And so I drowned like Peter. And notice how Peter and I both, like, we both were in Jesus' business. Like, Jesus was about his business, and we were like, no. Invite me into your business. Like, let me walk on water. And then we started drowning because we started getting overwhelmed by everything else that came with him giving us what we wanted. Jesus said, okay, come, walk on the water. Peter said, huh? I said, oh no, Jesus, I don't have time to be a human being. I'm drowning. And I drowned. But luckily for me and Peter, like, when you call out to Jesus, say, Jesus! and he caught us. Before things got too hectic, he said, it's you ye of little faith. That's how it happened. Read your Bible. But anyways, luckily for us, Jesus caught us, right? So life was hanging in the balance. You understand? Life was hanging in the balance. We didn't know we're coming or going, drowning or walking on water. Follow me. We didn't know we're drowning or we're walking on water. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what happened to Peter and I. And that's living in your answered prayers. Sometimes you're gonna get shocked. It's gonna give you a bit of shock, It's gonna give you a bit of shock, But Jesus is always there to, like, lift you up, to give you that strength, to encourage you, to say, listen, man, I got you. And if God is for you, like quite literally, nobody and nothing can stand against you, right? Not even yourself, not even your anxiety, not even your thoughts. So basically, Ntate, Kibangenile, life is the answered prayer. So basically, I was living in the answered prayer and I was drowning, right? And the growing pain of this, which is something that I also briefly like mentioned in the other thing, is trying to find a way to balance all these things, trying to balance work and being a daughter, a good daughter, trying to balance being a sister, trying to balance being a functioning member of society while chasing deadlines. I think I failed completely at being a functioning member of society, but I did meet my deadlines. I did great with the campaigns. If you're a campaign manager, hook me up with some more, you know what I'm saying, before the end of the year. December, do you understand that? December, because of that experience, I now know the importance of time management and the importance of not procrastinating. When you have something that you have to do, suck it up and do it, because things pile up. Okay, so that was the part of the growing pain. It's just that I realized that, you know what, girl, if you want to go anywhere in life, it's important to have a to-do list and to actually do it, not just to make your to-do list realistic and actually things you can do, because when it's not, you get overwhelmed and you do nothing, but also make realistic goals that match up with where you're trying to go. Know the dates of your things. Don't always be chasing deadlines. The reason why you end up chasing deadlines is because why? Is because of lack of time management and giving yourself enough time to do everything that you need to do. So I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn to wake up. I had to whatever. But basically, one thing that I also want to say that I noticed is that God cannot give you something that you don't have the capacity to handle. So obviously in that time I was just like, I can't do this, God, I can't do this is too much, I'm so overwhelmed, and I just feel like, how can you do this to me? I barely have time to breathe, I barely have time for myself, I barely have time to do the things that I want to do, because I'm always chasing a deadline, and I just feel like I just can't. And he be chilling, man. He be like, hey yo, man, relax. And that's what kills me about God. I'll be panicking, oh my God, and he'll be like, hey yo, man, chill, chill. Honestly, sometimes you think you don't have the capacity to do something, or you don't have the capacity to live the life that God called you to living, or you don't have the capacity to live the life that you have always wanted. You'll get there. Let's take for example when I got invited to my first YouTube event, and I did speak about the imposter syndrome in season 1 that I faced, and feeling I didn't belong. Why am I in these spaces? Sometimes you don't understand why you put in certain rooms or whatever, or why certain things are happening to you, or sometimes you're in an answered prayer and it doesn't feel the way you imagined. And that's something I also touched on there in season 1, that it'll sometimes feel like maybe you were wrong. Maybe I was wrong, but sometimes you want to be in your answered prayer and feel this sense of, you will, honestly, if it's the will of God, you are going to have a sense of peace, but sometimes you're going to feel very overwhelmed and feel oh my God, this is happening too fast. I'm not ready for this. Yes, I know this is something that I wanted, but I don't think I'm equipped enough to do it. But at the end of the day, if God placed you there, he placed you there for a reason. And even if you feel like you're unqualified, God doesn't call you to be qualified. If he sees you and deems you to be fit to be in that position, to be in that space, to be in that place, then he will qualify you. He will give you the capacity to do what you need to do. He will place people in your life that will help you get through that. And there are things in your life that you've already gone through that will prepare you for the next stage of your life, because every single plan and every single thing we go through in life is woven. So every single step, every single thing, God knows what he's doing, and ultimately it's to bring good into your life, every single detail of your life. So back to that event, that YouTube event, right? And then I went to the second one and I felt a bit better. I felt, oh my God, this is it, this is where I belong. I started feeling like, okay, like, okay, I can do this, fast forward to now, when I'm in rooms with the people that I work with, the people that are part of this incubator program, are actually quite big TikTokers. And I was like the smallest, like with my 2,000 followers, which shout out to God, because if God is for you, who can be against you? I was the one with like my 2,000 followers, and I'm in rooms and spaces with those people, and I know that I belong, and I know that I should be there, and I don't act meek, because at the end of the day, I have the spirit of like courageous. I have a courageous spirit, you know what I'm saying? Not a spirit of timidity. God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but of courage, love, and a sound mind. So I go in there and I'm courageous, and I know who I am, and I know whose I am. Like, I know who God called me to be, right? I'm in rooms, Libo, aka, and Bokeo, like I mentioned. I was producing like the show, not the shows, like the shoots, I don't know, man. But I was doing that, and I was in rooms with these people, and I could stand my own ground because I had to go through that uncomfortable stage of first being invited to the first few events. And even now, recently I was invited to another natural hair event, and even there you are there with people that are prominent in the industry, people that are known, people that are recognized in that industry, and to still be able to hold my own and know that I belong and know that I should be there is like part of the reasons. It's like when I was in the YouTube thing and struggling with who I am and struggling with imposter syndrome, I didn't know exactly why I was going through that and why it didn't feel the way I needed it to feel. But it's a process. Like, God knows what he's doing, and he's molding you into who you're meant to be. But the main thing to take away is it's always for your good. And in as much as living in my answered prayers was very overwhelming for me, because they all came at me at once. In as much as that's what happened. And I was crying. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was losing my mind on my WhatsApp. Like, I was really very overwhelmed. Like, it's still very hard for me trying to get back into my friendships and my relationships, and just trying to get back into the swing of things socially. But honestly, in that time, I really, 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 sometimes you must drown to know that you need to go for swimming lessons. Okay, so I would say, like, I had to drown to know that I need to be more intentional about just like my time management skills and the things that I deem as a priority to me. One of the things that I've really been intentional about being prioritizing is spending time with God in the morning and being off my phone. Like, I literally got to a point where I know the goals that I have for all my platforms. And I got to a point where I was literally so fixated on the numbers. Like, I'm putting in so much work. Why am I not already growing? Like, that it consumed me. That's all I was doing on my phone the whole time. I literally had to be like, you know what? Like, I just need like a few minutes or an hour or so of just quietness and hearing what God is saying, and like him giving me the ideas and the direction of the next step of my life. Like, what are we going to be praying for now? What are we feeling today? Just time to journal, and just time to myself to try and figure out what I'm trying to do with my life, where I'm trying to go. And to just remember that, like, at the end of the day, what truly matters here, it's not your cars, it's not how much money you've made this year, it's not the amount of followers you've grown this year, it's not whatever. It's just who God says you are. You are loved, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. You are called and appointed for a time such as this. Like, I am meant to be living on this earth at this time, at this age, getting a degree after 7 years. I am called and appointed for a time such as this, and I am deeply saddened to be interrupting this regular programming properly. But on top of the answered prayer I'm living in, one of the answered prayers that I'm praying to live in is getting a camera, because now shooting everything on my phone, storage ran out while I was busy shooting, and because I shoot with the back camera, I didn't see when it stopped recording, and there were so many impactful things that I said, and obviously I don't remember because I was on a Holy Spirit roll, if you know what I'm saying. But the main thing that I really, really want to emphasize is part of the growing pains is trusting that God knows exactly what he's doing. And sometimes you're going to be in a moment and not necessarily understand what it is that God is trying to teach you, or what it is that God is trying to show you, or whatever. Sometimes you don't know. But the main thing to know is that God is working everything out for your good. And every good and perfect gift comes from God. So it's impossible for him to bring pain upon you or to hurt you, but there is a certain level of uncomfortability that comes with growing, and there is a certain level of responsibility that comes with it as well. So the main thing to know is to remind yourself who your God is, and to remind yourself who God says you are. And just for the most part, in every single aspect of your life, whether you're living in an answered prayer or whether you're trusting God to answer certain prayers, to know that he knows better, and he knows exactly what he's doing in your life, so the things that he has imagined for your life is beyond anything you can ever think, dream, or imagine. So it's beyond anything you can even think for yourself or fathom for yourself. So it's something your brain cannot even come up with. So it's important that you continually trust him, even when you don't understand what's going on. Like, even when I attended that first event and I was like, what is this? Versus now being in the rooms that I'm in and being comfortable, because I went through those first few events of being uncomfortable and not knowing who I am. Sometimes going through the uncomfortability is how we get to who God called us to be. But one thing that you should remember is you are called and appointed for a time such as this. You're meant to be in the people's lives whose lives you're in. You're meant to touch the lives you're touching. You're meant to be the type of person you are, with your humor, with your personality. And through the lessons that you're learning and through the answered prayers that you're living, you continually getting one step closer to being in the purpose that God called you to live in. And so keep learning those lessons, but keep going back to God for the next step on what to do next, going forward in your life. And really, you'll see how God is able to do more than you can think, dream, or imagine. Just stay true to who God called you to be, and don't forget who God says you are in everything that you do. Like, even when you're living the life of your dreams, know that God has more in plan for you than you can ever imagine. So leave room for him to do that, and be obedient to what he says. Like, sometimes you're not going to understand the phase you're in. Like, for me, I feel like I should already be on 10,000 subscribers, God. But I can say maybe he's teaching me something. Maybe he's keeping me humble. When I'm at 10K, I'm not going to have a big head. I'm always going to remember that it's through God, I don't know. Sometimes you're not even going to know. But what's important is to stick it through and to trust God. Let me know in the comment section down below what stage of growing pains you've been experiencing in your life right now. If you are listening, please make sure that you leave a review regarding like how you feel about the direction of this season regarding growing pains and the topic that we will be discussing. I really am enjoying being back podcasting. So you will have another episode next week, Thursday at 6:00. Please make sure that you do tune in. Leave a like so that, YouTube can push the content so that more people can see it. But most importantly, I need you guys to remember who God says you are and whose you are, and never leave the house knowing doubting who God is and who he called you to be. And sometimes, answer delayed is not denied. So just be persistent, keep going towards your dreams, and just know that even when you get to a point of sometimes you work so hard towards your dreams that you think when you get to the point of living your dreams, like that's it. You're just going to be living your dreams. But there's still going to be an element of hard work that goes into that. So let's just continue going for our dreams and living the life that God called us to live, okay? I'll see you guys next week. Keep praying for me to get a camera so that you guys don't miss out on the wonderful gems that you guys probably did. But I really do believe that God said what he needed to say and nothing can get in the way of that. And generally with episodes where stuff like this happens, like, it's usually the most impactful episode. So I really hope you took something from this episode, and you share it with your friends, family, if you want them to take something from it as well. See you guys in the next episode where we'll discuss the next part of the story that continues the growing pains that we are still growing in. Thank you.